same line repeatedly in one input file. So we have to map the other words, means that মানে আমরা আগে যে কম্বিনেশনটা ইউজ করেছি নেক্সট লাইনে সেই কম্বিনেশনটা ইউজ করতে পারবো না। তো এরকম কনস্ট্রেন্টসটা কি ঠিক, মানে আর একটা টেস্ট কেস পেলে খুব ভালো হতো। এখানটা একটু প্রবলেম হচ্ছে, মানে প্রবলেমটা যেখানে ডিক্লেয়ার করা আছে সেকেন্ড প্যারাটা ক্লিয়ার না খুব একটা।
আর স্যার আর একটা জিনিস যেটা মানে ওর লেন্থটা কি কোনো রকম ভাবে রিলেট করছে, মানে যতগুলো ওয়ার্ড আছে তার লেন্থের সাথে আমার ডিকশনারিতে যে ওয়ার্ড আছে তার লেন্থের কি কোনো রিলেশন আছে? কারণ ওইভাবেই প্রথম টেস্ট কেসটা ওইভাবেই দেখলাম মিলে যাচ্ছে, তো সেইভাবে করেছিলাম।
नहीं रिलेशन तो नहीं रहेगा शायद। लाइक आई थिंक सो ऐसा है ना कि लाइक कोई भी जो मैप हो रहा है, लाइक सपोज डी के लिए कोई भी एक रैंडम लेटर आर, तो वो पूरे सेंटेंस में जहां जहां डी रहेगा वहां वहां आर प्रिंट होगा इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द नंबर ऑफ वर्ड्स।
हाँ वो ठीक है, पर वो लाइन जब रिपीट होगा तब वो सेम कॉम्बिनेशन यूज कर सकते हैं और अलग से कोई कॉम्बिनेशन बनाना पड़ेगा।
इसका तो डिटेल्स नहीं दिया ना।
हाँ उसका डिटेल सेकंड पैरा में दिया हुआ है बेसिकली, तो वही ये कंफ्यूजन है, पर क्लियरली कुछ नहीं बोला प्रॉब्लम में। उसके अलावा मतलब जो प्रॉब्लम दिया हुआ है वो जो एज सिंपल एज डिक्लेयर्ड, मतलब जो डिक्लेयर हुआ है बेसिकली वो प्रॉब्लम में, तो वो तो सॉल्व हो गया। पर वो सेकंड पैरा में एक लाइन है वो रिपीटेड लाइन के, मतलब रिपीटेड लाइन के डिटेल्स में, तो ये कंफ्यूजन था।
Okay, let us discuss tomorrow. So we are meeting tomorrow at the same time.
ओके सर।
ओके सर।
ओके सर।
Okay, so in C programming, I think you have the basic concepts. Can you tell me that how much do you know about the preprocessor directives? Have you written anything like hash, if, end if, this type of logic? Have you written any time, or you have used only hash define and hash include? Have you used any other preprocessor directives?
Sir, I have used hash and if once, but I don't remember.
Okay. One more thing I want to know from you. Do you know debugging? How to use GDB?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Is it known to everyone?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, I know little bit.
Then who will take this charge to discuss GDB?
I can explain, sir.
Okay. So we have to plan accordingly. So we need to discuss GDB. This one is important. And one more thing. Do you know Makefile? How to create Makefile?
Make in Linux?
Yeah, obviously.
Yes sir, I've used.
So if there are some dependency during compilation, to build this project we have to configure Makefile. So yeah, so anyone Ashutosh, can you learn it and discuss?
Makefile.
Yeah.
Okay sir, I can.
How to create? Any other member? Otherwise I will assign you some tasks that you have to learn this topic and you have to discuss in group. You have to be prepared to be a presenter. Okay, this one is very important. So all of you have to present something. You have to learn few things and a very small topic will be given. So you have to present it. It will help you because you know that for examination when you are learning something, then in everywhere you may not have that much of knowledge, that means in depth. But if you are going to take some class or if you want to present something, then your conception will be much more clear than the just reading and giving exam. And if you want to be an expert in any domain, you have to write some note. That will be very much helpful. Okay, so if you want to learn something in depth, if you start writing any note, it's just, if I'm giving you a very example, a very small topic, like you have to discuss IO operations in C programming language. Okay, if you want to take some, so if you want to write some note, you have to cover everything in that area. Like, I think all of you are familiar with how to take octal number as input. If you want to take octal number as input in C, what will you use? Scanf, percentile, what?
Oh, sir.
Okay. In case of hexadecimal number,
Percentile X.
X. Yeah.
X.
okay. So just, if I give you this task that you have to write a note on input output, then if you take a class, you may just miss something to discuss, but when you will start writing any note, then obviously you will cover each and every point. Okay, so that's why I will expect that you will try to present something in your group. It's not a very large open forum. All of you are friends, so you can learn one topic and you can discuss. Obviously, the topics will not be just like you are not interested in that area, but you have to present it. It will not be like that. If you are interested in some domain, you may decide that this topic you want to discuss. Okay, so that we can be engaged with this activity. So let us plan accordingly. So from, obviously, from after 21st of August, we will plan it. Okay. Okay. I want to know something from you. I'm not going to start a very new topic. Is whether I have shared my screen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
স্যার আপনি ফার্স্ট ক্লাসে না সেকেন্ড ক্লাসে একবার প্রিন্টএফ এর ব্যাপারটা বলেছিলেন যে ওটা কোথায় আছে দেখতে, ওই রিলেটেড কিছু ডাউটস ছিল।
ওকে, কোথায়
ওগুলো এখন বলবো না পরে?
Yeah, obviously you can discuss at any time.
স্যার প্রিন্টএফ এর ফার্স্টে তো যেটা দেখলাম যে প্রিন্টএফ এর সোর্স কোডে অ্যাকচুয়ালি ভিএফ প্রিন্টএফ বলে একটা ফাংশন ইউজ করেছে। তো এবারে প্রিন্টএফ ডিরেক্টলি ফাংশনটা তো লিনাক্সে নেই, মানে যেটা দেখলাম তো libc.so তে শেয়ার্ড অবজেক্টের মধ্যে প্রিন্টএফ আছে, আর মানে ওটাকে অবজেক্ট ডাম্পে ডিসঅ্যাসেম্বল করে ওখানে ভিএফ প্রিন্টএফ পেয়েছি, তো ওখানেই প্রবাবলি প্রিন্টএফ আছে এটা মনে হয়। এবারে
কোন ফাইল?
ডাউট,
which file?
libc.so
Yeah,
তো ওটাতে মোস্ট প্রবাবলি ওটা শেয়ার্ড অবজেক্ট, তো অবজেক্ট হিসেবেই আছে। এখন জিসিসিতে যদি আমি স্ট্যাটিক লিঙ্কিং আর ডাইনামিক লিঙ্কিং ক্ষেত্রে ডাইনামিক লিঙ্কিং করলে নয় এটা পসিবল যে অবজেক্ট ফাইলটা ডিরেক্টলি ইনক্লুড হচ্ছে, স্ট্যাটিক লিঙ্কিং করলে তাহলে প্রিন্টএফ এর অ্যাসেম্বলি কোডটা করতে আসছে যদি অবজেক্ট ফাইলই থাকে।
আচ্ছা।
এইটা ডাউট।
Have you gone through these two types of files? SO
Yes,
is
sir.
shared object, another type of object is what?
স্যার আপনার শোনা গেল না।
What are the other type of object? One is shared object, and what is other type of object? Which one is dynamic object?
SO is shared, that is dynamic.
Yeah. And what are the
আর একটা
other?
ডট ও যেটা নর্মাল মানে যেটা সেভ টেমস করে পাওয়া যায়, ওটা একটা অবজেক্ট, ওটা শেয়ার্ড না।
তাহলে in that case which file is being loaded at which time? .o and .so.
.so will be loaded at dynamic linking.
Okay. So printf function will be fetched from which location? libc.
libc.so.
Yeah. So what is object file?
Object file is assembled version of assembly code. When assembly code goes to assembler, it gives object file. I think it is before the loader takes in. I think like after the linking is done.
Okay. Ashutosh, can you light
Yes,
in
sir.
this area, as you are saying that you are familiar with makefile?
I can try, sir. I have to read.
Okay. I think this part will be clear once we discuss makefile. It will be easier to understand. When we are going to create makefile, then how this, if we have multiple files which are to be incorporated within a single application, how the things are being linked and how the things are loaded in main memory. That part will be very easy if we understand makefile creation.
Okay, sir.
Just I'm giving you one hint here that if we have two .c files, okay, two .c files means one is main.c and another one is say math.c. I'm not talking about math.h. This file is math.c, and in that math.c file I have written multiple functions like factorial, combinatorial functions, okay, which are required in our application. So those functions are defined in math.c, and in this file in main.c we are going to call them. Okay, one way you know that how to run this program, or how will you write this main.c file?
Hashtag include then in single inverted.
Okay, if these two files are kept in current directory, then we can use this include. So hash include, then within single quote we are writing the name of the file. So math.c will be written there. Do you know any other way to run this program? I don't want to write this line math.c by using include. If I include it, what will happen? During compilation at the very beginning, during pre-processing, this line will be replaced by the content of that file. So ultimately everything will be kept in the same file. Okay, so in intermediate file or in object file, everything will be kept. But I want to keep these files as separate object file and I want to run it. Have you executed it in that way?
So manually GCC LM বা এরকম কিছু একটা প্যারামিটার দিয়ে কি লিংক করে মানে করা যায়?
Basically you are using LM for including math library.
আচ্ছা, এম নয় তাহলে, মানে ডিরেক্ট লিংক করার জন্য এরকম কিছু একটা ছিল না?
Now in this area, that's why I'm telling you that we have to understand makefile. Instead of including, like instead of using hash include math.c, we can keep both of this object file and during execution we can run it. That is the main criteria of defining a makefile.
Can you repeat, sir?
Okay, the approach is in this case, what we can do, instead of including a file in another file, we can use two different object file by single command. Obviously it will be like GCC. So by using single command, we can keep both of these objects separate and we can run it. I will show you, but before that I want to discuss makefile. That will be helpful. We can link during execution. We can link multiple files during execution. Okay, let's arrange it in next day. So when will you discuss this makefile? Tomorrow we are going to discuss the problems which we have shared, okay, and you have worked on it. So if we have some doubt, that will be clarified tomorrow. Any other date? Do you want to discuss the things in Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then it will be better. We can discuss on Saturday.
So, sir, I have to present on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I want to discuss some comments. I have seen that many of you have done Linux course, and even the course is more than 100 hours, and probably 96 hours approximately. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Which areas you have covered in those courses? I will suggest you because first of all, I want to know that whether all of you are familiar with Linux commands. Just not compiling a code and creating like make directory and these things. Beyond that, do you know in depth?
No, no, sir. I
Yes,
don't.
sir.
No, sir.
Intermediate, sir.
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. Are you familiar with VI editor?
Little bit, sir.
Yes, sir.
Beginner
Little bit.
or intermediate kind. I used the nano editor.
Okay. Let us start with few basic concepts of any operating system. Okay. So what do you understand but that what is operating system and what is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of an operating system?
It will manage the whole programs. Basically,
Sir,
what
hardware
we
and the
are
software
doing.
part. Yeah.
It will manage the whole programs. Okay. What do you mean by that?
Is that whatever we are running on the PC or kind like or laptop, it may be. So the whole code or the whole system will managed by the OS.
Okay.
Sir, can we say it as a like medium or a software which help us to explore like all the activities that can be performed by a computer?
Okay, all the activities. Okay, anything else do you want to add? Anyone? Do you want to add anything else?
It also manages the memory.
Yeah, it manages memory. Anything else? It manages memory only or something else?
Allocation of
Manages memory.
So in single line, we can say that it manages each and every type of resources of a computing device. It manages memory, it manages I/O, input output devices, okay, it manages processors, okay. So if multiple processes are running, in which processor at which time it is to be allocated, so it manages the processes, okay. So in the background it manages the processors, basically it schedules the resources. So for multiple processes are running simultaneously in our system, so when multiple processes are running, for which process how much resource needs to be allocated. Say for process 1, how much memory needs to be allocated, that will be decided by the operating system, and it will allocate accordingly. It will allocate, a program or process is basically a set of instruction which needs to be executed. So which segment of instruction will be executed at which time to which processor, that will be managed by operating system. So all the resource management will be performed by the operating system, every kind of resource management. Now if you have multiple processes which are running in your system, sometimes these processes may need to talk to each other, okay. Like if I write here in Windows environment, if you open terminal and write notepad in terminal or command prompt, you are writing notepad and you are pressing enter, what will happen? Notepad editor will be opened, okay.
Yes, sir.
So if notepad editor is being opened at that time, so what we can say, this notepad editor is a different process, your terminal is another process. So from one process we are instructing to launch another process, okay. I will show you here, not today, because we can create from this terminal, we can create a process, okay. So if we create a process from here, then these two processes like this terminal and that process may communicate with each other, okay. So they can communicate. I will show you with one example. So sometimes we can create a different process which will not be linked with your main process. Sometimes we are creating another process which is directly communicating with the main process or parent process, okay. So this concept is basically known as forking, okay. So we can fork a process, that means we can create a child process from other process. At the same time, you have to understand that we can create multiple thread. So in one process, just for example, that when you have you are not using that, do you use Google Chat, a chat window of Gmail?
Hangout, sir.
I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
talking about Hangout. Directly you can use chat in Gmail window.
Yes, sir, I have used.
Okay. Nowadays the system has changed a lot. Okay, in case of Facebook, can you chat with multiple friends simultaneously? So this small pop-ups will appear for each and every friend. There will be separate pop-up. Okay, so you
Yes,
can
sir.
chat with multiple friends
Yes,
simultaneously.
sir.
So
Yes,
in
sir,
your,
through Messenger.
yeah, I'm talking about Messenger. I thought that you are not familiar
Yes,
about
sir.
Messenger. Okay, so if it's Google Talk, if it's a Facebook Messenger, like this, for this type of application, what happens? So one process is running, that is the main process. So Facebook application, when you are running Facebook application, one process is running. Now, for every friend, you have opened a chat window. So basically, these are very lightweight processes. These are again process, but these are very lightweight process. So these processes are basically known as thread. Okay, so in C program, we have to understand how to create multiple thread. Okay, so resource management, this resource management is very important task of the operating system. Okay, now on this terminal, if I write PS, what is being shown here? These are the process ID. These are terminal. Okay, now this is when we have entered this command. So process PS has been started, and bash. What is bash? Do you know?
The shell.
Bash is the shell, like
Yeah.
the
So
language in which terminal works.
Okay, so there are different types of shells in Linux environment. One is bash shell. Okay, so you can just explore that what is bash shell, what is K shell, okay, and what is the difference between them. Now, from here, if I write something, if I write a command from this terminal, how this is executing, even just for example, if I consider that I'm entering in that directory, I think sample codes. So here we have a program a.out. So if I write a.out and press enter, you know that this process will be started, and it has been started and it has been ended. So the resources has been allocated to this process during its execution. Now in your program, if you have scanf function, what will happen? Your terminal, this process will halt there. Okay, this process will halt there, and it will wait to get an input from user through terminal if you have scanf function. So whether the resources which are allocated for this process, whether these resources will still be allocated for this process. No. So when one process is running, some resources are required, those resources will be allocated for it. When it is in wait state, so when it is in waiting state, that means it is waiting for some input or output device, then some resources may be deallocated from it. Okay, so for this interruption, for this IO interruption, it will be in waiting state. So at that time, the instructions of this process will not be executed in the processor. Instead of that, what will happen? So when this process is in waiting state, that instructions will be removed from cache. Okay, and the other processes which are running in your system, some instructions of those processes will be allocated to the processor. So these things are managed by the operating system. At which time, which process needs to be allocated or is to be kept in different state, everything will be managed by the operating system. Okay, now we have to understand that when we are using graphical user interface, okay, before that we have executed this command ll, which is equivalent of, what is ll?
It is list L, like list hyphen L.
Yeah, so list, long listing. Okay, so long listing is basically showing the details of the files. What is this?
That is the permission, sir.
Permissions.
We can change it with chmod.
Okay, this is the permission. Now if it's permission, then what does it represent?
Sir, actually, this
First
is divided into three sections.
Yeah.
The first one is the owner. Second one is group. Third one is like outside world.
Okay. So
And the very
owner-
first one is for directory. If it is directory, then it will be D. Otherwise, it will be net.
It will be dash. If it's a file, it will be dash or directory then D.
okay, let us create a directory. Say this is test. Okay, now I'm writing this. So here you can see that first one is D. Okay, so first one is D. It represents it's a directory. Okay, now what is the difference between file and directory?
Sir, a directory can contain multiple files.
Multiple files, sir. Directory will contain multiple number of files, and the file will contain that single file only.
Okay, if I write I'm opening a file using this editor vim, it will open this content.
Yes.
Okay,
Sir.
can I open a directory? Is it possible? I want to open a directory.
Sir, you can navigate through the directory.
Sir, it will show
Never tried
the
it.
number of files that means the files that it is containing.
Yeah. So this is a blank directory. In that directory, we don't have anything. I'm returning back to its, sorry, I'm going back to its parent directory. Okay. So if I go back to its parent directory, now if I write vim sample codes, it will show you the list of files which we have. So in Linux environment, file and directory, the things are same. There is no difference, but there is a logical difference in representation. But a directory itself is a file. How the things are managed, then you have to understand inode. Okay, so again it's your task that what do you understand by inode. You have to check it, you have to go through it. So a directory is nothing but a file. It will contain the list of files. Okay, so content of a directory is list of files. Now there are some additional information. Okay, now this is the location of the directory. Okay, how these directories and files are managed, the thing will be discussed in inode, so you can go through it. Now here the files are sorted by name, so if you want to change it, you can change it here, or you can change it using some other command also. Okay, now sorting sequence is being provided here, in which order they will be sorted. You can make some changes here. Okay, so this is basically a directory and file. These things are not different, the things are same. So a directory itself a file. Even in Linux environment, when you are communicating, when from this machine you are communicating with another machine, when this data is being transferred between two machines, again the things are being transferred through file. It may look like that the data is being sent, but actually we are using some file descriptor by which we can transfer some data from one machine to another machine. So file is not just related to your local system where this data is being kept. Even in network communication, we are using file to transfer this data. Okay, now so you know the change mode command. So using change mode command, chmod, we can modify these comments. Sorry,
Yes,
we
sir.
can modify this access specifier. Now have you checked that if I want to access in C program, when we are trying to read a file, you have written this logic that if during f open, after f open, then you are reading, receiving the file pointer. You have declared it earlier. Now using, say it's a file pointer fp, so fp equals to f open abc.txt, comma, it is being opened in read mode. Okay, if the file doesn't exist, so file pointer will be null. Now if you don't have permission, again it will, my god, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you don't have any permission, again this one will be null. Okay, so you have to manage it in that way. So can you tell me that why in Linux environment virus, in Linux environment obviously there are some viruses which can attack Linux environment, but this attack is minimum compared to Windows environment. Do you know why?
Sir, because we can set permissions for each and every file separately.
So like if a virus, so if it attacks one user, it may not have permissions for all others, or it might not be able to like escalate its privileges to root. Then it will be, it
Exactly.
will like do nothing. It will do something for that user, but it won't affect all the users or the root.
Okay, you may check that if you write a program, okay, in your system you are writing a program and you have set all the permissions to, you have enabled all the permissions like this one. We have read, write and execute permission. Okay, so just for example, I'm going to change this permission. So chmod
777.
777. So read, write and execute. So read, write, execute, these three. If we enable these three, so read is 1, write is 1 and execute is 1. So 1 1 1, it's binary. If we consider this binary representation, then this value is 1 1 1 is 7. Okay, so 7 for 3 different user, if we set 777 and if we modify it, then it will be this. You can check that here. Now
Sir,
this
you have to
permission,
be super user, no?
yeah, obviously I have to
But
be.
you haven't done that sudo su.
Uh, if we set an SUID bit, then we can run it as root. Otherwise, like it will be limited to user.
Yeah, in my system this user is basically the super user. Sometimes some command executions are restricted. In that case I have to use, in Ubuntu you are using sudo, but here I have to use this. Okay, so to log into the system as super user, so this terminal is representing that this is normal user and this hash is representing this is the admin user.
Sir, can you please clear the screen?
Yeah,
Sir, like I have another doubt. If what does then the sudoers file does then? Like if
Sudo, I think so. Sudo क्या करता है कि like वो temporary के लिए like तुमको बस एक
sudo नहीं sudoers एक फाइल होता है sudoers जिसमें कुछ यूजर्स लिस्टेड होते हैं, शायद से वो लोग sudo यूज कर सकते हैं, बाकी लोग नहीं, लेकिन मैं क्लियर नहीं उसके बारे में.
there are many students who are new or first time they are learning some comments. Let's discuss it in some different time.
So one more thing,
Okay, sir.
like you were talking about terminals, I wanted to know like what is the difference if I open command prompt and Windows PowerShell?
I don't know. I have no knowledge about Windows environment. I use Windows environment, but from administrative perspective, I have no idea of it.
Because Windows PowerShell also works as a like terminal itself. So I'm not getting what is the difference, because there are some tasks which we can do in Windows PowerShell, but it can't be done in command prompt.
No, I have never explored Windows environment. Then I have to check. Because the Windows environment, to me, Windows environment is black box, and I'm not interested at all in that black box. If you tell me that I have to download a kernel, in this machine some kernel is being used, I have to upgrade or downgrade, I can just download the code, I can compile it, I can make it compatible with other environment. These things I can do with Linux environment, but not for Windows environment. I have to check. I will try to learn that things. But I have no interest in Windows environment, obviously. I can mention you this. Okay. Okay. So these are the two different types of user. One is, this is the root user. If I'm just exiting from this, now I'm returning to the dollar prompt. So this is a normal user. Okay. Now, if I am the owner of the file, I can change permission. So if I create a file, if I change, I'm going to this directory first. Okay. So here I have changed, what I have changed it. Okay.
A.out.
Change mode. Okay. Okay. No, this is not changed. Chmod a.out. I'm going to change this one, this permission.
So that day I asked in the like WhatsApp group why that A.out is like in the green box.
This one. This is a marker, nothing else.
Acha, okay, not this sir. Then I don't know why in my Linux. I think so it was because like I mounted another partition. That's why like all the mounted drives come under highlighted text.
These color combinations are in different Linux environment. These things are different. I'm just giving you this. This color will be changed within short time. Okay, so I'm changing this permission. Now, if I give it to you to run it on your own machine, this permission will not be like this. This permission will be changed. If you want to run it on your machine, again, you have to set permission, then you can run it. So when we are using Linux environment, when a virus is being downloaded in our machine, by default, its execution permission will be stopped. Execution permission will not be given. So if you want to run it on this machine, I have written this code. I have set the permission to 777. I have shared this code a.out to you, and you are running. And in your machine, you want to run it. You have to change this permission explicitly, then you can run it. That's just writing a virus program and sharing it or sending it through some different media. It will not affect other environments. Like in pen drive, in Windows environment, when you are using a pen drive, you have copied some file in a Windows environment from a Windows machine, where from the in this pen drive some viruses has been written. Now, if you connect it to your machine, then these viruses will be executed. So your system will be affected by this virus. In recent Windows environment, many things have been changed, but still the problem is there. Now in Linux environment, by default, this file will not be executed. Okay, so you have to change this permission. That's why in a very simple way, we can't spread virus in Linux environment. Okay, this file a.out is executable file. Here memory test is another executable file. Okay, Now, this file can be shared with others, but it will not be executed in that machine until the permission is being changed. Now, your question is why this file is green colored. Okay, let me change it. So I am changing it to 111. Okay, or instead of 111, it will be read. Write and execute permission is being withdrawn. Okay, I'm changing this permission. Can you see? Now a.out file is just like some other.
No, sir, this wasn't my doubt actually. A.out is green just because like I think so it is executable. That's why it was green. But my doubt was like in the WhatsApp group I have sent a photo in which the name was highlighted in a green box, and it was not a marker. It was like by default like that only. So why it
Okay.
was like that? That was the question.
Okay, probably I have missed that question in WhatsApp group, in ACM group.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how long ago?
Sir, on Thursday, 4:19 p.m.
What was that? Which file it is?
Actually, sir, it is the media folder. It is another partition.
You are mounting it.
Exactly, sir. Yeah, later on I found it. It was just because I have mounted it. That's why it's highlighted in the green box. If I unmount it, it's
Yeah.
again back to normal.
Yeah. So what's the doubt?
So that time I wasn't able to get that it is because of mounting. That was the doubt at that time, sir. Like वो green क्यों हो रहा है उस समय समझ नहीं आया था. बाद में फिर like I found out it's because of mounting.
Okay, okay. For mounting, then this directory will be highlighted. That's right. Okay. Just I want to give you some pointer because I would like to tell you that BI is the very important editor in Linux environment. Okay, and one thing you should understand, you should accept it basically, that if you are working in Linux environment, don't use graphical user interface. In most of the time, we have to use command prompts only. Okay. Today it's very difficult to discuss run level, but just to give you some hint, in Linux environment, we have 6 different run level. Okay, so run level means in different level we can run different program. Okay, so if it's run level 1, networking related things will never run. So if your system is running in run level 1, then you can't connect this machine to network. Your system will be connected to network at least if you run this system in run level 3. In run level 3, the system is ready to connect to network. Okay. Now, in run level 5, graphical user interface is running. So in this Linux environment, I'm using this Linux environment. So graphical user interface is there. So that indicates that this system is running in run level 5. Okay, but if you run it in run level 5, then the problem is for rendering this graphical user interface, it will consume huge CPU cycles. Do you accept it that it will consume huge CPU cycles? Because for this rendering purpose, some processing will be done in the background. It will continuously, that program will continuously run in the background. So some CPU cycles, and that is a significant amount of CPU cycles will be used. Now in a server, when you are deploying a server, then this much of CPU resources, we don't want to waste that much of resources. Okay, so if we want to reduce CPU cycle consumption, we have to run it in run level 3. In run level 3, graphical user interface is not present at all. So whatever you will do, you have to write it in terminal. Okay, you will get only terminal, no graphical user interface. So if you run this system, okay, so how to change it? If you want to run it in run level 3, what you have to do? This is init 3. I'm not going to enter. Okay, if I run this system at run level 3, I have to write init 3. So system will be, now system will move to run level 3. So graphical user interfaces will be lost. Okay, if you want to run it in run level 5, you can run it using run level 5. We can discuss more than 2 hours on this run level, but just to give you some hint that in that way we can work on this system. Okay, do you know how to shut down a system from this terminal?
There is a command shutdown now, shutdown immediately.
Okay, and using init,
I don't know, sir.
okay, if you write init 0, then the system will move to run level 0. That means the system will be powered down. It will be shutted down. Okay, so these are the different run levels in which we are planning according to our requirement. We are planning to move our system or run our system at that run level only. Okay, in server side, we don't need any graphical user interface. That's why everything will run in run level 3. It will be connected to network. That's why we can avoid graphical user interface and we can run our system in run level 3. So we can run this command init 3.
So what happens in 6?
It will restart. If you write init 6, the system will restart.
স্যার এই ইনিট কমান্ডটা কি মানে লিনাক্স স্টার্ট হওয়ার সময় যে ইনিটটা এক্সিকিউট হয় বা সিস্টেম ডি যেটাকে বলে, তো সেইটার সাথে কিছু ভাবে রিলেটেড?
রিলেটেড।
আচ্ছা,
আমি পরে দেখিয়ে দেবো, এখন দেখাচ্ছি না, বাট দিস থিংস আর রিলেটেড। init.d directory is there, so the things are related. Just for example, if I say that you have written a program a.out and this program needs to run every time your system is running. Okay, this program needs to run in the background. You have written such a command that it is monitoring your system. So you have run a C program by which you can analyze your system. So it will collect some data and it will write it in file. Okay, so you have written that program. Now this program, will you run this program every time manually when you will
The background
restart?
processes.
we can say put it in bash rc or something.
You can put it in bash rc.
Yes sir.
Okay. Okay. The things
So
have become
can't we
difficult.
start it in the like startup applications?
Yeah, no, I should not discuss in that way because the other members are feeling bored, I feel. So we can plan that half an hour will be for discussing this type of things and at least 1 hour for discussing the things in regular basis. Okay, so in conventional way, otherwise it will be difficult. If we just go through some random topic, it will be difficult for others.
Sir, we also discussed, sir, like we are feeling 1.5 hours is becoming very less, sir. We need to extend time if possible.
I can do that, but whether you are free, that is the most important thing.
I have no problem, sir.
I too have no problem, sir. I can work till 3 in the night.
No problem, sir.
No
Okay,
problem,
just
sir.
at least for half an hour, we can just discuss the basic things of VI editor. Only few things. Whether it's VI or VIM, the things are almost same nowadays. Earlier, it was different. In VIM, color coding was included, but in VI editor, color coding was not included. But now, if I open a file like just file copy.c, if I open a file in VI editor also, color coding is there. Okay. Now, my question is, okay, so how to copy a file? Those who are not familiar with VI editor, I want to copy a line because it's not possible that I have opened a file in an editor and I will write everything. I have to type everything. It's not possible. So I want to copy some line. Okay. So how to copy it? So first of all, if you are first time, how many of you are just learn this? You are going to learn VI editor first time. Is there anyone?
Sir, me.
Me. Okay. So Wayan.
Me also, sir.
Okay.
Sir, me also.
Okay. Let's discuss. Okay. So just I'm going to open a file. I'm going to create a new file. So I'm writing VI editor or VIM. Say my file name is say it's a calculator.c. This is my file, calculator.c. If I press enter, it will open this editor. Okay. Now you can see that here it is showing it's calculator.c, it's new file. So you can understand why it's new file. Now I want to write something here, but I can't write it immediately. If I type X, I have entered X, but is there any character? Can you see any character in this window? No.
No, sir.
It is not typing anything. Okay. So what is happening? So after this, I'm just going back. If I open this file, I can't type anything. So what we have to do? There are lots of comments, but just to begin with, I want to insert some data. I want to add some data. So I have to press. So at this moment, this editor is in command mode. So that means it is ready to accept a command. Okay. So this editor at this moment is ready to accept a command. Now, if I want to write something, I have to change this mode to edit mode. Okay, so basically it's a text mode. So in text mode, how I can move? So how I can change this? So I can press I. There are some other keys also, but to begin with, just try to understand that I want to insert some data in this file. So I will press I. So if I press I once, now you can see that in this status bar, it is showing insert mode. Okay, in this status bar, this is showing insert mode. Okay, now it is in insert mode. Now whatever I want to write, I can write it. I can start typing. Okay, I can start typing like I'm writing #include stdio.h. Okay, now I'm writing the main function. Okay, and I'm going to write one line. This is printf. So in printf, it's nothing but hello world. Okay, I'm printing this line, and finally I am returning 0. Okay, now this editor is in text mode. Okay, now from this mode I have to save this content. If I want to save this content, so after writing something, if I want to save this content, so I have to enter a command to save the content. How to save this content? So I have to enter a command. That means I can't enter any command in text mode. So I have to go back to command mode. So how I can change this mode? I can press escape. If I press escape, now you can see that this insert, the text insert, is no more here. It is not being shown on status bar. Okay, so this editor is in command mode again. If this editor is in command mode, then it is ready to accept any command. I want to save this content. So what I have to do? So in Linux environment, save means I want to write this thing. So whatever I have written in this file, I want to write it in file system. So I will enter :w for writing. Okay, so :w, you can check this status bar. Now it is showing :w. So :w means, so whatever command you want to enter, you have to enter it after colon. So :w means it will write this content permanently in a file. So if I press enter, then it is showing that this is calculator.c, 7 lines, 69 characters written. So the things are saved. Okay, now if I want to edit, so I will, from now, even now this editor is in command mode, so I will press I. Now it is in insert mode. Say I want to write something more, so I want to write something like, so I want to add this comment. Okay, it is still in insert mode. Now I want to save this file, so I will press escape. Then I will write the command to save. So :w. Okay, so W means write. So if you enter this command, it will save the content. Okay.
Sir, what is the all in the right bottom? Is it permissions?
This one.
Yes, sir.
I have to check. I don't know. It's not permission. Obviously, we can check it. It's not permission.
স্যার এটা মনে হয় টেক্সট ডকুমেন্টের কতটা পোরশন আছে সেইটা মনে হয় দেখায়।
শিওর না, দেখতে হবে একটু।
All के बगल में that is तो cursor. I can tell because 7 is the cursor. 1-8 क्या है पता नहीं.
Yes, this 7 is cursor. So this is 7th row, first column. Okay, so we have used tab, that's why 7th row, 2nd to 9. This is cursor position. 6-1, it will be 6 to 9. So 9 places are being used for tab. It's basically 8 places. Okay, it's cursor position. So W is being used for write, small w. Okay, now if I want to write and quit, or even if I'm in command mode at this moment, I want to quit. So quit means from this editor we are going to quit. So if we want to quit this editor, we have to press :Q. Okay, so Q is quit, so it will quit this editor. So it will return to the terminal. Okay, so it will return to the terminal. If I open this file again, I will open it. From this position, say I want to copy this line. Okay, I want to copy this line std hash include std.h because I have to add one more line std_lib. Okay, so y you have to, in command mode, this is copy is a command, so in command mode you have to press yy means, what is the full form of yy? Can you search for it? You will never forget that. You may think that in Windows environment we are using Control C for copy, so C stands for copy. So in Linux environment we are using yy. What is that? Just after that, after pressing yy, it will be copied, it will be yanked, then I'm using P. The things are copied, okay, in the buffer. If I press again, if I press P again,
Repeat to answer, your voice was not clearly audible.
okay, okay, at this moment I have added some lines. I have not saved it, but I want to quit. What will happen? If I press this :Q, I'm going to quit, but it is showing no write since last change. So it is showing an warning that there are some changes.
You're not audible, sir.
Yeah, today I have no internet connection. I am connected from my mobile, and that's why this problem is arising. Calls are coming, so
Sir, YNP
drop
is yank and put.
Yeah, so it's a yank. So if we want to copy, so y stands for yank. So we are copying this line. Now after copying this line, now I'm going to quit it. So I'm pressing :Q. So it is showing that no write since last change. So since last change we have made some changes, but I'm going to quit. So the things are not being saved. It will not be saved. So it is asking for confirmation. Do you want to just neglect these recent changes? So if I want to neglect these recent changes, then I have to use this Q, then exclamatory sign. Okay, so the things will not be saved, but before that it is taking some confirmation. Okay, so now you can check that the things are not saved here. Now I am in command mode, so I can copy, so I can yank, and I am entering P to paste. Okay, now here I am going to add std_lib. Okay, in insert mode. Now I want to save this content. So if I want to save as well as quit simultaneously, so I will write WQ, write and quit. Okay, so I will use write and quit. Now I am opening this file. I'm just copying this line. From the current cursor position, it will copy the line. So YY will yank the line from the current cursor position. So that means if the cursor position at this line, then it will copy this line. Now I want to paste it. So it will paste that content after this line. Okay. Now I want to save this content and quit. But here I'm going to write, instead of WQ, write and quit, I'm writing quit and write. Okay. It's not an editor command. But if I write WQ, write and quit, it's an editor command. But quit and write is not an editor command. Okay. So here you have to write and quit this content. Okay.
Colon X will do the same or not?
Which one?
Colon X, I think.
Yeah. There are lots of shortcuts, but you can explore, but I don't want to discuss all the things because for the new learners, it will be difficult to understand. Like in insert mode, if I want to move to insert mode, I can press A. There are probably 8 to 9 commands by which we can change this mode. But just to start with, we can use only one thing, that is I for insert mode. Okay. So colon WQ for write and quit, YY for yank, P for paste. Now if I want to delete a line, like I want to delete this line, it will be DD.
D and P.
Double D.
Yeah, you can use DD only. It will delete the line. Okay. There are some more comments, obviously, but I'm just giving you only one comment at this moment. Okay. So using DD, you can delete the line. Similarly, if I want to delete this line, I can delete it. If I want to delete from some intermediate position, like from this line, I want to delete only hello, I can do it, but I will not show you today. Okay. If I want to paste something in some certain position, I can paste it using this editor. But then you have to remember lots of commands. Okay. Just to start with, so you can copy a line, you can delete a line. Now, if I say that I want to copy this full function. Okay. So how many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines. I want to copy these 6 lines. So I will use 6YY. Okay. So it is showing that 6 lines yanked. Okay. I want to paste it at the end of this function. So I will enter, I will move the cursor and I will press P. Okay. If I want to delete, say 3 lines from this current position, I will use 3DD. Any doubt? So there are lots of comments, but we are just starting with only few comments at this moment. For the new members means those who are new for VI editor, is it difficult to remember only these few comments? Then I will suggest, if you feel that it's difficult to remember, then I will suggest you some cheat sheet. It's not for your exam purpose, but this is the cheat sheet. It will help you a lot. Only this is 2 page. So using this, okay. Just for example, this first command, we have discussed only W, but what is W? This, like Here I have made some changes here. Okay, so after doing some changes, now I'm showing you that if I want to save, it is showing that since last change it has not been saved, so there are some changes. Now instead of saving it, I want to save this file in some different file, like say this is xxx.c. I want to save it here. So :w, this will save this content to this file. Okay, now I'm going to quit. It will not quit. I have to save and quit, write and quit. Now let's check the files. You can see that there is a new file, this. If I open this file, you can see that this is the file content. So we have saved the file, we have written the file in some different file, xxxx.c. So this you can write it in that way. Okay, so many things are there, but this is the few things we have discussed. Okay, so we have just discussed I :w :wq and q exclamatory. Okay, and one thing we have discussed is yy. I think the things are given here. It's a cheat sheet, so everything is not here. So you can use yy for young, dd for deleting, okay, for general things may not be available here. Okay, yeah, for deletion purpose we have discussed dd. For paste we have used p. Okay, so you can just download this cheat sheet and use it. Okay, now I'm going back to this. Okay, so is it clear the command mode, text mode or editor mode, and how to shift from command mode to text mode? You have to press I. From text or edit mode to command mode, you have to press escape key of your keyboard. Okay, and in that way you can write it. Just for example, if I want to search something in a file, search is a command, so I will press /. Okay, now I'm writing, I want to search std, so I'm searching for std. Okay, here you can see that these lines are being highlighted. So in the full text file, all the occurrences of std will be highlighted. Okay, now I want to search this std, but from here I'm pressing enter, so std is being highlighted. Then if I press N to move to next position, I can press N. If you are not able to understand here, let me copy this line first. Okay, so I'm going to copy this line and I'm just putting this buffer at this position. Okay, I'm adding one more line here. Okay, now I want to find std. Okay, if I press enter, now you can see that it is blinking. So now the cursor is at this position. I want to search the next std occurrence, so I will press N. So now cursor position has been moved to the beginning because this is the last position. Now it has returned to beginning. Now if I press N, it will move cursor to the next position. If I press N again, it will move the cursor to the next position. So it will jump this cursor position. So in a file, if you want to check that for a specific pattern, you can check it in this way. This is just a simple text, but we can search for a pattern also. So the comments are available, but to start with, if you think that this is helpful, so we can discuss something more. Everyone is silent.
No, sir, like we can continue, no issue. Like if others have no issue, then.
Yes, sir.
Ayon, Shayon, is there any problem in understanding?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, sir.
Can I discuss some more comments? Or if you feel
Yes,
that
Yes, sir.
okay, so just I'm going back to this command prompt. Okay, say I have here in this command I have written vim file name. Now I am not writing vim file name. Here I am writing just vim and pressing enter. What will happen? It will open vi editor without a file. Like in Notepad, if you just write in terminal, I'm using Windows environment. Let me show you. So I'm opening terminal. So command prompt cmd. Now here, if I write notepad abc.txt, okay, the file doesn't exist. Do you want to create a new file? Yes. So a new file is being created, abc.txt. Okay. Now, instead of that, if I write only notepad, what will happen? It will open this editor
Notepad will
without any
open.
file. Yeah. So only the editor will be open, but it will not open any file. If the file exists, like I have saved this content. Now, from here, from this terminal, I want to open notepad abc.txt. So it will open existing file. Okay. In case of vi editor, what will happen? If I write vim only, if I press enter, it will open this file. Okay, it will open this editor, but it is not any file. So it has opened only the editor. Now, if I want to write something, I'm changing this mode. Okay, I'm changing this mode to insert mode. Now I'm going to write something here. Okay. Now after writing it, I want to save. So if I want to write it, then it will ask that there is no file. I've just opened a file. So if I want to save it, what I have to do? I have to write and I have to redirect the content, the buffer content to, this is general buffer content. Okay, I will not use the term. So this content will be written to a file. So say the content is being written to ppp.txt. The content is being written to this file. Okay, so now I want to quit, write and quit. Yeah, it will write and quit. You can check that this file has been created, and if you check this content, you will get this content. So in the similar way, we can do it. Okay, now for edit, if we want to discuss some more comment, let us discuss some related comments instead of discussing some new comments. Okay, so but it will be easy to understand that okay, let me open this editor. Have you noticed that it is showing this help? Okay, do you want to get help of this VI editor from command prompt? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So what will be the command to get some help from this PI editor?
:help.
Okay,
Like you have to be in the command section.
in command section you have to enter this. Okay, but as you are you want to spend some more time here, I want to just give you some hint that if I open an editor, like so this is my file name abc.txt. okay, generally in case of VI editor there are 4 different modes. We have discussed about input mode and command mode. Okay, but basically there are 4 different modes. Shall I proceed with this mode or it will be burden to you? Command mode means, yeah, hello?
Means you can continue, sir.
Okay, so what are the modes? So if I press I, then this is in insert mode. Okay, so I can press small I, capital I. So when I'm in command mode, from this command mode, if I want to change this mode to input mode, I can use small I, capital I, small a, capital A, small o, capital O. Similarly, for reading small r, capital R, small s and capital S. Okay.
Sir,
So these are
while
the
you were renaming the file, like you have
Hmm.
opened Vim without any giving the name of the file, and then
Yeah.
after that it asked for writing a name. So can we use -o like we use in normal terminal?
In normal terminal, can we use?
-o, like whenever suppose a GCC file is there or something. So if we have to change the name of executable file, we write no like test-o and then we write the name of ourselves.
Okay. Can you guide me? I'm writing VIM only.
No, so that is like for output. The output that is generated will be changed with that name. But here is no output.
So -o से नहीं होगा.
Output किधर है?
Okay.
No, for -o in GCC command, the things are different. This is not related with VI editor. When we are writing
Yes, sir.
something,
Yes, sir. I got it.
if I write GCC, say I have some valid program like file copy, GCC file -o, it creates the object file. So you can specify any name here. So if I write this, then the object file will be created by this name. It's different thing. It has nothing with VI editor, nothing to do, because VI editor is different, GCC command is different. Okay, so here we are talking about that if we open a editor from command mode, if we want to move to input mode, then we can use these things. Now from input mode, if I want to shift to change this mode to command mode, I have to press escape. We have discussed it. Okay, there is another thing, that is the last line mode. We have used it, but we have not discussed it. Like here in insert mode, I am writing something. Okay, so I'm writing something in insert mode. After that, what I am doing, after this, I have to save this file. Okay, so I will press escape. So from insert mode, it will change this mode to command mode. So at this moment, this terminal is in command mode. Okay, now from this command mode, if I press colon, okay, if I press colon, then it is, the mode is being changed from command mode to last line mode. We have not discussed it earlier, but this is command mode. Okay, so from command mode, you have to change this mode to last line mode. Okay, so if I press colon, then it is in last line mode. If I press enter, then it is last line mode. Let me tell you. So at this moment, I'm just writing this content. I'm writing this content to this .text file. Okay, so this is my file right now. At which position I am? Cursor is in first line or second line. Okay, this cursor is in second line. If I press colon, I'm telling you that this is the last line mode. So if I press colon and press enter, okay, so this colon, press enter, then it is in, so colon is moving this or changing this command mode to last line mode, and enter is changing from last line mode to command mode. So if I use colon, cursor is being placed at last line of the editor. So this is last line mode. Now if I press enter, then again it will return to command mode. Okay, now from this command mode, if you, instead of pressing enter, so whenever we want to enter any command, okay, like I want to save this content, then I will write colon W. Okay, so if I write colon W, then it will save this content. Okay, so if I write something like colon W will save this content, but it will not change this mode, so it will still be in command mode. Okay, but if I write colon X, what is that? So colon X is basically saving this content and returning it to shell prompt. So this is the shell prompt. Colon, if I use colon X, then it will return to shell. Similarly, if you have nothing in your current unsaved or current buffer, general buffer, which is not saved yet, then you can use colon Q. Okay.
Sir,
So to
why
return to this,
while using WQ, the colon mark is not changing to last line mode?
which one? I'm just opening it.
While using colon WQ mode, WQ command, why the colon mark is not changing to last line mode?
Colon WQ.
So why is it not changing to last line mode?
No. When you are last line mode indicates basically last line mode is the cursor position. So only if you use only colon, then your cursor is moving to the last line. This is a different mode in Unix environment where you can enter your commands. So colon is basically changing this command mode to last line mode. When you are in last line mode, then you can enter some command.
So for saving a file, we use just W. So instead of colon W, suppose we are in the command line, in the command mode, and we press W randomly. So won't that save?
In command mode, if you write W, nothing will happen.
Okay.
Nothing will happen. First, you have to change it to last line mode. Then you have to save it. So if I press S, now I am in command mode. If I write W, nothing will happen. Okay. Now we have to understand the interaction between command mode and shell. Okay. So this is in command mode. Okay. Now if I want to change this mode, I want to return to shell. So in last line mode, I have to enter this command like X. Okay. Or I can use Q. Alternatively, I can use ZZ. Okay. So I'm opening this file. Now I've used ZZ. So if I use ZZ, then it will return to this position. Okay.
এখানে swap ফাইলটা ডিলিট করতে হবে না, হলে তো আগেরটা আবার রিকভারি আর ডিলিট ছাড়া তো অপশন নেই কোনো।
না, এটা তো ইন্টেনশনালি।
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ওকে।
So now here I'm just going back. Okay. Now let me check how many files are there. This I was trying to edit this file. Okay. Now when I'm trying to open this file again, it is showing that there is a swap file. Okay. So if there is a swap file, what is that? We have some unsaved content. We have forcefully exited the window. When you are working in lab, at that time, if your system is unexpectedly shut down or your terminal has been closed when you are working on that file, then this type of problem will appear. So
sir, is the swap file the like things are in RAM, that's why it's giving swap?
No, the files are not stored in RAM.
The contents.
No, the file is stored in your file system, but the management of swap file you will learn in operating system.
Because like we whenever like we install Linux, so we have to create a partition of mount swap, so that like whenever RAM is full, we can use the swap folder.
Swap partition and swap file, these things are different.
Okay.
Swap or swap?
So initially, if I use ls command or ll command, it will not show it because this swap file is a hidden file. So swap file indicates that some unexpected, the editor has been unexpectedly closed. Now, can you see that actual file size is 46 byte, whereas this file size is too large. Okay, this file size is too large. You can compare this size. So this is a swap file, which is basically a temporary file. So when we are editing something, when we are working with buffer, I'm not going to discuss the buffer in detail, but when I am working on buffer, I'm typing something, okay, which content is not saved yet. The modification are being performed on this swap file. Okay, the modifications are being performed on swap file. Now, when I will save, then can you hear me?
মাঝখানে কিছু শুনতে পাইনি, এই মাত্র শুনতে পেলাম।
মাঝখানে আমি কথাও বলি, আমি বুঝতে পেরেছি যে কেটে গেছে কানেকশন। ফোন থেকে করা যাবে না, নেটটা কেন এখনো আসছে না? Okay, so in intermediate step, this swap file will be created. So when you will save this content, now the file will point to the new file. So this is basically the concept of shadow copy, which is managed by the operating system. To avoid this data loss, these swap files are managed by the operating system. In Windows environment, probably you have noticed that if you open a Microsoft Word and the Office has been closed unexpectedly, then some hidden file is being created. Generally, its name will start with tilde symbol. Okay, so this is basically a swap file or shadow copy. Okay, now if sometimes this file is being created, you have to recover it. So next time when you will try to open this file, it will show you that there is a swap file. If you have multiple swap file, all the swap files will be listed here. Okay, now you can just go through this document. You will understand that how to recover it. Okay, so do you want to recover this file? If you want to recover it, you can press R. Okay, so recovery has been completed. Buffer contents equals file contents. You may want to delete the swap file. So if you recover this in this way, then you have to delete the swap file. Now I am pressing enter. Okay, so it will open this file. Now I'm going to save, write and quit. Then forcefully I have to delete the swap file. So I will delete the swap file. The file name is rmxg this. So I will remove this swap file. Now next time if you want to open it, then it will be opened properly. But you have to recover and then delete it. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
is there do you have any more doubt here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. There are some more comments like we have discussed :w to write, :w, then a new file name, then the content will be copied in the new file name. Similarly, but if the file name which you are providing, if the file doesn't exist, then it will copy it. But if the file exists, then what will happen? Then the content you have, just for example, you have a file abc.txt, and in your system pqr.txt file doesn't exist, so you can write it. Okay, like I want to save it, I want to write it in pqr.txt. I want to save it. I will save it. Okay, no, pqr file exists, that's why I'm unable to save it. But if I write, say I want to write vvv, this file doesn't exist, so .txt, it will write it. But when I'm trying to write it in pqr.txt, I'm unable to write it. Oh, sorry. I want to write it in pqr.txt. The file exists. That's why I can't write it at this moment. So what I have to do? If I want to overwrite that file, okay, I want to overwrite, then I have to write w this. So I'm forcing the system to write the content in pqr.txt. Okay, so the previous content of pqr will be lost, so this new content will be written there, so it will force to write it. Okay, similarly, if I want to append something, like in pqr, this is the content, we can just go through it, we can check it, that I will open vim pqr.txt. okay, this is the content right now. Okay, now I'm opening this file. I want to append this content to pqr.txt. okay, so previously using this write, we have overwritten it. Now instead of overwriting it, I want to append this content. Okay, so if I want to append this content to same file pqr.txt, I'll append it. Now let me quit and open this pqr. You can see that the content has been appended. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Now there are many more things. Okay, let's end it today. Okay, I will discuss the other comments later on.
Sir, I have a doubt, not related to this, but
Yeah.
So like you are using here VMware Workstation, so you must have created a virtual hard disk for this. So all the files you are creating right now, all these text files, that must be saved into that virtual hard disk. So from the Windows graphical user interface, will you be able to access all those files?
No. I think no. The file should not be accessible in that way. Because virtualization should provide some restriction. From host machine, the file system of the virtual machine should not be accessible. Then it's a security issue. In that case, that workstation will not be used by anyone. No client will deploy their application or virtual machine in that cloud environment or virtual environment. It should not be accessible.
Okay, sir.
If it happens in workstation, then this system will not be used by any client. So as per my understanding, this type of flaws doesn't exist in this environment. But if still this
I
flaws
don't know about workstation, sir, but like you have installed Linux CentOS, so of course CentOS won't allow it to access it.
yeah, so this is not, this should not be accessible from outside. Okay, so I'm going to end it today, and tomorrow Ashutosh will take this responsibility to discuss the problems, these 3 problems, then we'll try to discuss it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. I would expect some other member. Okay, fine. Now I have to sit for MOOC upload. 7 members in my mentoring group, 7 members, information has not been uploaded yet. Okay, I will complete it by tonight. Okay, then I'm going to end it.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night.